Hi everybody, Scott here. In this video I want to talk about the idea or the concept of how we want to be remembered, and I want to share more specifically in this video how I would want to be remembered. And as I was sort of titling this video, I thought this seems sort of egocentric, sort of like very self-focused, but there's actually, for me, I see it in a very different way, I think, to maybe how we would normally think of that question of how would I want to be remembered. And I guess the traditional way that we recognize how people get remembered, or how people are remembered, are through either the externals of like what they built, what they created, what they achieved, or what they did, as well as we hear of people, the impact they had on people, and the lives that they impacted and helped or changed or whatever. And of the two, I certainly would fall in the latter. But I think for me it even goes a little bit further than that, in a way that it was a surprise for me to think about. And I guess it kind of falls into potentially an INFJ type category, although I don't think it's exclusive to the INFJ, but I think it can tie in quite nicely. That with the work that I do, being a counsellor and all of that, my role essentially is to meet people with where they're at and help create a space for change to take place. And some of that happens sort of indirectly through creating a space that allows people to like work through something or things like that. Or it might be through providing a concept or a reframe, sort of more of a direct approach of speaking into something that a client is saying to help create a shift or help ask a question or see things from a different angle. And that the clients go away from that hopefully changed in some way, but it's them. I just want to make it clear that it's actually them that's doing the changing, but I'm involved in kind of helping it take place. And just sort of painting a picture, the client, that human being goes back into their world, and hopefully that change, they're changed, and even their relationships change, the way they interact at work changes, and even future relationships, they have children, get married, things like that, the way in which they engage in that relationship may have changed as a result of our interaction within the counselling room. But I've long since been forgotten in regards to that, generally speaking. But the thought that the sort of work that I do, basically, you could say like an injection of something that affects a change that then has potential generational impact, and that something that happened in the counselling room then filters through their lives, through their relationship. Let's say they're married, it filters into that relationship, creating a positive change or a different way of relating, or they've resolved something that's gotten in the way of relationship. And also, like with the next generation, like having children and being able to be present with as a parent, or engaging with the child in such a way that brings about more wholeness, more depth of connection, eliminates potential misunderstandings, conflicts, these sorts of things. the thought of the work that I do, having that potential generational change, gives me a huge amount of joy, of a deep sense of satisfaction and purpose. So bringing it back to how I want to be remembered, the idea of not being remembered, but like specifically, like directly being remembered, but having my interaction kind of lasting through into the generations, in a sense, and with the fact that something's happened in the counselling room that has a generational change, a positive change, is kind of the way, in a sense, that I would like to be remembered, but I'm not remembered because I've long since gone. Even for the actual client, the thought of our interaction might have gone, but the change remains. So in a way, I'm like, well, that's how I think I would like to be remembered. Remembered in the sense of not being remembered, but the impact that I have had within the counselling space has generational impact, and that some aspect of something that I was able to achieve, or I should say the client was able to achieve with the work that we did together, being felt or being experienced 2 or 3, 4, 5 generations down the track. And I think that's very possible in a lot of scenarios that take place in counselling. That some person 100, 150 years from now is going to have a deeper or more positive, like a deeper relationship or a more positive relationship, or have opportunities, just like a positive trickle-down effect to someone in the far distant future, just really resonates with me. Not saying that I'm all powerful that created that. It's just the tipping of the first domino. The change in one person, that the actual person makes the change. I'm just there to help create a space for that change. But being involved in that process, helping to tip that first domino that may have a generational change into the future, just fills me with joy internally. I'm not sure. I wonder if this resonates with people, this idea of being remembered through the change and the impact that they have in the lives of other people. That they won't personally be remembered, but the impact is and the effect that you've had on people has a long-reaching change or long-lasting change. I wonder if the INFJs watching identify with this idea, and if other people identify with this idea. Maybe we all, to some extent, identify with this. But I just wanted to share this. Maybe a different way of looking at how to be remembered. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in another video.